Architecture is something a person is exposed to from the day he or she was born until he or she is dead. So, in fact, it's a very common thing. But then the profession itself is kind of very limited. As architects, we speak a language that no one can understand, but everyone has to hear it and everyone has to have an idea about it. So, architecture is, I think, is in between this huge dilemma of being a subject to everyone and that, but no one can really understand or cares or be part of the discussion.
What can architecture do?
Architecture is not a game changer, we think. But maybe sometimes architects can redefine the rules of the game. And to be able to redefine the rules, I think it's not only enough to know the rules of the profession, but also have some idea about like communities, politics, economics. So if we have maybe enough ideas and enough progressive thoughts about it, maybe we can redefine the rules that can affect to change the game.
What is your architectural position?
Our position is, I think it's not like the positions of the architects of the previous decades that were kind of designing and building in the land of plenty, because now it's with the diminishing natural sources, with the political crisis, economic crisis, wars, the world is changing, and that's why the profession is also having kind of a break moment. And our position in that sense is to be aware of all this change. We cannot design like the architects designs like, let's say, 20 years ago. We cannot make fictions. We have to work on the realities. So our position is quite related to the world's position that has a dramatic change, I say, in the last years.
What is your design method?
I think our design method is first of all to accept the existing. This can be an existing building, an existing force, a wind, sun, whatever. Accepting this and then trying to understand this later on and try to build something upon all this knowledge.
And also, it's again a very common belief of architects that they don't listen to anyone, they just have an idea in their mind and they just try to realize it. In our case, our means our generation, we have to be really good listeners. We are not we won't be able to pretend let's say, the architect who doesn't listen to anyone but try to realize his or her fictionary ideas. Instead, we really need to listen to what is existing in the site, as Oral mentioned, not because our first early build projects are like kind of the transformation of existing buildings, but also it's because it gives us a power to start to trigger ideas about design, and we really use it as a method to discover how and what the existing can change architecture in our minds.
So last question, what is the future of architecture?
Actually, architects are the victims of the future, as Buckminster Fuller says, because everything that we do is something like being oracles and making propagandas of the future, because we draw something which is possibly is going to be built like 1 year, 2 years, or 10 years later. So this is something that we are doomed, I think. Maybe this is the main relationship between the future and architects. I think it's a very problematic thing, because there are very few professions which are connected with time like that sense, I guess. And I really find it this really as a pressure on our profession, because everybody wants something about the future, predicting the future from the architects. So that's why predicting the future of the architecture is even much more difficult, I guess.
I think we always tend to think that technology changes the way we build, the way we design, but also I think it will also change the way how everyone who are not architects will be expressing ideas about architecture, about cities. So I think in the near future, as the tools of as the tools of designing and architecture, they change and they kind of evolve. The people will be more using it, and then they will be more. The people who are not architects, they will be they will have a chance to be part of the discussion of constructed environments, built environments. So maybe this is not good for our architects, but I think it's good for architecture. It's going to be a nice revolution for architecture. I am also thinking it's going to be also good for architects as well, as an architect from the perspective of like seeing the profession more like a like a collective thing. But also it's because we I mean, as the city users, we complain a lot about everything that is happening, but we really don't have the chance to change things other than we vote, or we just kind of create a public opinion, etc. But maybe the tools of that the technology would like create will help people more to like be part of the real discussion, to change the environment, and etc.